Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Mercury Sextile or Trine one's natal north node. Now, this transit may manifest in communications, learning, assimilating information, siblings, cousins, neighbors, short journeys, local transportation. This could be in harmony with one's future, and well, one way harmony could be in harmony with one's future because, okay, as an example, well, somebody could be taking, has this transit, taking a short trip somewhere. It could be just, in the neighborhood or to one's adjacent town, and they meet up with somebody that can figure prominently in one's future, whether it's tied into career aspirations or what have you. If the natal north node is in Capricorn, say it could really emphasize something with the career, or if it's in the 10th house, it could emphasize something with career ambitions and being successful in general. It can also be a time where the siblings, cousins, and neighbors, these people may be more in favor of what you're seeing, as far as what you're aspiring to be, what your future holds, and what you want to do in terms of what you feel you're destined for. Um, if you have your natal north node, say it's in Scorpio, and you have it, say you have it in the second house, it could simply be trying to gain control and power more over your own finances, and or if you have, say, the natal north node is in Scorpio in the 10th house, it could be some Scorpio career, which can include locksmithing or working as a psychologist, or the occult, which includes astrology or embalming, or death professions such as working as a mortician, a funeral director, or a coroner, some examples. Now, another thing too, is looking at this as well. I mean, the North Node is connected also with the mission and purpose. And the thing about this transit is that it's more of an opportunity, I would say, to articulate and verbalize what you believe your mission and purpose may be. And if you have the natal North Node in Aquarius, it could simply be doing things very collectively with others, and something with altruism, humanitarianism, I'm sorry, I could say that again, humanitarianism, just showing general consideration. And if the natal north node is, say it's in Aquarius in the fourth house, it could just be simply showing those qualities in family related matters and people you're close to home with. Um, it can be a time when the north node is connected, with the purpose, and it has it can be a time where you're able, to, as far as thinking goes, figure out. I mean, you may already know what your purpose is, but to actually, it could be formulating, like a mental plan and writing things down. If you haven't really fulfilled that yet, what you believe your purpose is, this could be an opportune time to be able to form, at least start something where you're forming more of a mental plan, or writing down what you believe you need to do in order to actually make it come to a fruition. And uh, now the North Node is associated with what it could be, what's preordained, what you believe. Again, it's tied in with destiny. And remember, the North Node is not this. It's something that you're generally going to emphasize and accentuate more in that that second half of life. It could be like age 35 and older. But and especially if you're in that stage right now, this could be the time where you're able to could be more about um, articulating where you believe as far as your destiny, what could be preordained for you right now. It's about communication about it. It could be with other people. This could be the time where you're able to be able to communicate about this more. And if it's something where you weren't really talking about it openly, this is more of a chance to be able to do so at this time. And it could also be that people that were prominent, say in your early education, or it could be people that well in short journeys. This is a time to really to be able for those people to be of assistance to you at this point in time, and help you maybe further where you want to go in terms of what you believe is preordained. And it might be also too, the North Node is connected. It's about the development of the positive attributes that are associated with the placement. And I have my natal North Node in Pisces in the 11th house. So if I'm having this transit, it could be where I'm, able to be able to, talk about, those positive, the development of those positive attributes, and such as, and figure out how I'm going to go about it. And again, North Node in Pisces in the 11th house could manifest in the metaphysical, which includes astrology. Just metaphysical is associated with Pisces. 11th house is goals and aspirations. I'm being able to figure out how I'm going to, be able to develop that, that destiny. What I believe is the destiny, or the positive attributes that are associated with the placement. How I'm going as far as further development goes with them. If you want to talk about actual the attributes and characteristics, that could be just being able to show forgiveness, sacrifice, altruism, compassion, which is Pisces, towards friends. 11th house is connected with friends, or even sacrificing, which is Pisces, time in groups, clubs, and organizations, such as being able to contribute, say, astrologically, to groups without wanting anything in return, just being able to do it just to help others, and showing compassion in the process. So that's another, and being able to understand how I'm going to go about doing that. But anyway, also to the North Node again is connected with what you're learning and aspiring to be. And it's a time where siblings, cousins, neighbors, people that may be prominent in short journeys, or even your early education. This is a time where you have, those people can be more in agreement with what you're learning and aspiring to be. And it's also a time where it's more about being able to maybe write down what it is. If you have, trying what you're trying to do, what you're trying to attain in your future. And I think too, again, because the North Node is connected with what you're learning and what you're aspiring to be, it's more of a chance to think rationally about this. Remember that you're talking about a good relationship and aspect between Mercury and the natal North Node. And it's also a time where you could be doing something where communications can be auspicious to your future. It could be whoever you might be talking with, maybe they are beneficial to what you want to do in terms of what you're aspiring, learning and aspiring to be at this time. If you have, the natal North Node, is in Sagittarius, it could be somebody, that's developing more philosophy, or trying to basically target one certain belief, a person that's about veracity, the truth, being very direct. It's adventurous. These are qualities that you may be learning and aspiring to be, that you're trying to develop, but it's also the kind of person that you may be learning and aspiring to be, being that incorrigible optimist, which is of course connected with Sagittarius. The North Node can also be about issues, about where you're directed toward. And the thing about it is, if you have your natal North Node, say it's in Taurus, it could be, let's say you have it in Taurus in the 8th house. It could be just being directed toward having some kind of stability and peace in a shared resources situation, financial security, being involved in shared resources scenario. As an example, being able to be a person that could be unflappable, calm, and composed, which is Taurus, in a crisis, which is the 8th house. Hold on a moment, people. Now, the North Node is also connected with issues one may have to address and confront. So, I mean, this could be a time, let's say, especially if this is in the 1st or the 6th house. The North Node, your natal North Node is in the 1st or 6th house in your natal chart. This could be an opportunity to be able to address a physical or health related issue, being able to articulate it, verbalize it, getting good news regarding it. So anyway, now another way this transit may manifest, it could be very positive communications, which is Mercury, about your future, which is the North Node. Let's say again, like in my example, if the natal North Node is in Pisces in the 11th house, it could be the metaphysical, which is Pisces, and goals or aspirations, which is the 11th house. It also could be very auspicious to learn, which is Mercury, about what aspiring to be, which is the North Node. Let's say if the natal North Node is in Gemini in the 9th house, it could be about the development of manifold, which is Gemini, beliefs and opinions, which is the 9th house. It could also be a time where siblings, cousins, and neighbors, which is Mercury, could favor your mission and destiny, which is the North Node. If the natal North Node is in Aquarius in the 10th house, as an example, it could be in astrology, astronomy, computers, which is Aquarius. It could be a career, which is the 10th house. Now, short journeys, which is Mercury, can also be very favorable to issues you may have to address and confront, which is the North Node. If the natal North Node, say, is in Gemini in the 2nd house, it could be some issues with forgery, or plagiarism, which is Gemini. It could be forged checks, I should say. Forgery, which is Gemini, and checks, it's connected with things that are monetary, could be adversely impacting your finances, which is the 2nd house. Checks, of course, are monetary, and the 2nd house is finances. So let me say one more time. If the natal North Node is in Gemini in the 2nd house, as an example, it could be forgery, which is Gemini, the checks, which may adversely affect your finances and monetary situations, which is the 2nd house. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.